So I don't have a well out at my place, and this summer was really dry. I struggled a lot getting enough water for my fruit trees. I was pumping water from a nearby creek into totes on a trailer and trailering that up here so I could get some water to my trees. So I did a little more investing in rainwater collection. So I got a couple more totes, and I wanted to show you guys what I ended up doing. And it's worked better than some other things I've done in the past. I've tried tarps hanging from the trees, tied from the trees, and you know, as soon as a storm comes through, just because it's fairly unconstrained, they whip around, they rip in half, the ropes break, and you know, every time I come out here, I'll end up restringing them up into the tree because the storm had blown them away more or less, or torn them up. So I like the idea of a tarp because it's got a lot of surface area. You get a lot of collection from that versus you know, a more rigid structure, and certainly the expense. It's significantly less expensive than creating a full wooden structure with, you know, steel corrugated steel siding panels or something like that. So I'll show you what I did. It's kind of a hybrid of I guess a rigid structure and a tarp. I essentially created a frame for the tarp, and this tarp is 10 foot by 14 foot, I believe, and the frame is 16 feet long, and I think it's 8 feet tall on one side, 7 feet tall on the shorter side, and it's 8 feet wide. So 16 by 18 is the 2 dimensions, and then it's 7 to 8 feet tall. And the tarp is actually pinched on 3 sides between lumber and then screwed down, so it constrains it fairly well. You know, on one side, you know, because the frame's 8 feet wide and the tarp's 10 feet wide, there is some sag on one side, and then I reduced that sag by pulling out a couple inches, maybe 4 inches of tarp on each side, so so that way it'd be a little taller for my particular situation. But I've got this set on a tote. It's a 330 gallon tote, and then I've got an old turtle pool in here with a 3 or 4 inch toilet drain and a couple of screens on top of it, and there's also a bag filter down beneath, so I get lots of filtration. But this has kept it pretty rigid, or a lot more constrained, so it doesn't flop around as much in the storms, and it's held up really well. I haven't had any failures associated with it yet, and I filled up I don't know, at least 600 gallons worth of water with this setup. And this is just some unpainted cheap pine boards, and I want to show that to everyone because I've struggled a lot with the tarp system reliability or durability, and this seems to have helped out quite a bit. I've run this for a couple of months now, and I haven't had any issues with it. We'll see how long it holds up.